Earthquakes are a significant hazard to human societies because they cause mass destruction, casualties, and economic damage. Marks of variable, sometimes unimaginable, magnitude have been left on afflicted areas throughout history. Examining the origins, consequences, and lessons learned from the 5 largest earthquakes ever recorded on Earth is the focus of this movie. Knowing their strength can help us mitigate the effects of future earthquakes. Number 5. Kamchatka, Russia Earthquake, 1952, 9.0. In the annals of Earth's turbulent past, 1952 is etched permanently as a watermark of calamity and upheaval. On that fatal day in November, a seismic monster roared to life in the distant reaches of Russia, off the coastline lap of the Kamchatka Peninsula. The earthquake that would go down in history as a 9.0 magnitude event rocked the Earth to its foundations at precisely 1658 Greenwich Mean Time, a time that seemed designed to reflect the seismic grandeur. Imagine the sky was painted with the fading colors of dusk, the air was heavy with a tense serenity, and then abruptly, the ground beneath your feet changed into a roiling sea of action. At 4:58 local time, something happened that threw Kamchatka's social fabric into such chaos that it's difficult to put into words. The subsequent destruction was not limited to land. The Pacific Ocean churned and frothed, giving birth to a massive tsunami with waves as high as 15 meters. The sea, once a friend, now an enemy, pounded the coastlines with unrelenting ferocity, destroying everything in its path. The death toll from this earthquake was bleak, a sobering reminder of humanity's vulnerability in the face of the raw power of nature. It is estimated that between 10,000 and 15,000 lives were lost due to the catastrophic tango of tectonic plates and rushing waters. The Kamchatka Peninsula and the Kuril Islands were hit particularly hard, and their landscapes and communities will never be the same. The sounds of the tsunami could be heard across the Pacific. However, even though the waves affected the Hawaiian Islands, no lives were lost due to the sea's tantrum there. Those strands of the tumultuous tide spread even further, crossing oceans and defying the laws of space and time. In hushed tones, the waves traveled around the world, telling their tale of turmoil and disaster on the shores of Peru, Chile, and New Zealand. Walls of water as high as 1.4 meters raged to the cradle of Alaska, the embrace of the Aleutian Islands, and the coasts of California, all of which bore witness. Number 4. Tohoku Earthquake, 2011, 9.1. The date of March 11, 2011 will forever be etched into the record of Earth's turbulent past as the day the Earth trembled and the oceans screamed in a manner that defied the imagination. Off the coast of Japan, the Earth shook at precisely 1446 local time, 546 UTC, giving birth to a seismic giant that would push the boundaries of human resistance. The peace of that fateful Friday was disturbed by a 9.1 magnitude megathrust earthquake of cosmic proportions, and we were left wondering what had just happened. Tsunami waves up to 40.5 meters, 133 feet, high were unleashed as the Earth's crust broke and twisted beneath the Pacific Ocean's depths, unleashing an unimaginable force. These tremendous rivers of water, born of tectonic rage, pushed inexorably inland, breaking through obstacles and penetrating as far as 6 miles, 10 kilometers, into the very heart of Japan. The wreckage was as impressive as the show of force that nature put on, serving as a sobering reminder of the planet's awesome might. What was once a shining example of human ingenuity in northeastern Japan now stood broken and humiliated. Once vital to our advancement, our airports, highways, and railways are now nothing more than ruins, as if the planet itself were trying to remove whatever trace of our civilization it could find. An eerie cacophony of destruction unfolded, with 127,290 structures giving way to the assault and collapsing into nothingness, and 272,788 others left hanging by a thread. The upheaval left its mark on an additional 747,989 buildings, a testament to its unstoppable might. The fabric of nuclear physics, in a particularly ominous twist, also fell under the sway of disaster. A war between nature and man was fought out at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant complex. As a result of the tsunami's persistent surge, several nuclear power plants experienced level 7 meltdowns, the worst possible outcome. Once a symbol of limitless human potential, reactors release radioactive specters that permeate the environment and the collective psyche, turning them into omens of doom. The destruction caused by this disaster became immediately apparent when the dust cleared and the waves subsided. The cold impersonality of the numbers could not cover up the pain of the loss. We struggled to come to terms with the fact that 15,894 lives have been taken, 6,152 people were injured, and 2,562 people would never be found. They left behind a world that would never be the same, a living witness to the power of nature to surprise and astound us with its majesty and to make us feel like little humans. Number 3. Sumatra Earthquake, 2004, 9.1. The earthquake in Sumatra 2004 has etched its place in the annals of natural disasters with intensity beyond description. On December 26, as the clock ticked closer and closer to 0:58:53 UTC, a seismic roar erupted beneath the calm waters off the west coast of Sumatra, Indonesia, caused by an earthquake. This catastrophic event, also known as the Indian Ocean Earthquake 2004, occurred along a fault line that was an incredible 1,500 kilometers, 900 miles, in length, a rupture that surpassed all previous records. The fault line was located in the Indian Ocean. However, the tearing apart the Earth's crust was not the only thing that occurred. The subsequent tsunami, which was carrying on the coattails of the tectonic instability, erupted with a vengeance and caused waves to fly to dizzying heights of up to 30 meters, 100 feet. Around 250,000 people are estimated to have perished due to the icy embrace of this tidal wave of disaster, which swept across coastal settlements and left behind many dead bodies. This event produced seismic tremors that were unparalleled in both their magnitude and their length of endurance. The ground beneath our feet trembled for an astounding 8.3 to 10 minutes, making it the faulting that occurred for the longest time ever recorded. It was impossible to deny the existence of the ripple effect as the whole planet shook, with the planet's surface moving as much as 1 centimeter, 0.4 inches, in either direction. The sheer volume of the energy released is mind-boggling. It was 4.0 by 1022 joules, or 4.0 by 1029 ergs, the same as 9,600 gigatons of TNT. To put that into perspective, it has a destructive energy that is 550 million times greater than the energy released by the atomic bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. This is an almost incomprehensible force of nature. However, this was only a tiny portion of the power released by the earthquake. An explosive dance of colossal forces took place deep below the Earth, beyond the reach of human senses, and it was there that the planet absorbed the majority of this energy. Only a tiny portion of the power, equivalent to 1.1 by 1017 joules or 26 megatons of TNT, left its mark on the planet's surface. This controlled anarchy, which had more than 1,500 times the power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima, was nothing compared to the Tsar Bomba. This chilling artifact demonstrated humanity's propensity for destruction. As the turbulent waters subsided, the event was branded with a tapestry of names: the 2004 Indian Ocean Tsunami, the South Asian Tsunami, and the Indonesian Tsunami, a variety of terms to express the global impact of the disaster. A cruel irony occurred as it became known as the Christmas Tsunami, because it struck even as Christian tourists were reveling in the festive holiday season. The tsunami was an indiscriminate force that recognized neither creed nor calendar, so its devastation was felt even as Christians celebrated the holiday season. Number 2. Great Alaska Earthquake, 1964, 9.2. The Great Alaska Earthquake of 1964, often known as the Good Friday Earthquake, due to the lucky coincidence of its occurrence on that holy day, stands as a devastating event that serves as an awe-inspiring witness to the raw might of nature's fury in the annals of Earth's seismic turmoil. The soil beneath the Prince William Sound region of Alaska began to roil with a terrible force as the clock inched closer and closer to 5:36 p.m. In an instant, the entire globe was hurled into an unfathomable whirlpool. During that terrifying split second, the very ground began to tremble. It continued to do so for what seemed like an eternity minus 4.5 minutes, releasing an unprecedented seismic power in the annals of US history. The bedrock, supposed to be an unwoven representation of steadiness, buckled and surged like a turbulent sea. In the hands of this enormous upheaval, human lives, buildings, and roads were nothing more than playthings. The crust of the Earth, usually a calm and reliable watchdog over the continents, lost its age-old composure and unleashed a destructive storm that left an unmistakable impression on the surrounding terrain. However, the unsteady dance of the planet was not the only factor that disrupted the world's equilibrium. A huge wave, a 27-foot behemoth born of the earthquake's seismic tantrum, tore through the coastal barrier with a ruthless vengeance. The tide was held of the earthquake's seismic temper. Chenega, a peaceful community tucked away by the sea, took the brunt of this aquatic rage. It was almost as if the waves plotted to exact their vengeance on the village. The community, which had a population of 68 people at one time, stood helpless in the face of the assault. In a matter of seconds, 23 people lost their lives, leaving behind a haunting wake of tragedy. Nevertheless, despite all of the mayhem, the human spirit emerged victorious. The survivors, quick on their feet despite the impending danger, defied the odds and outran the aquatic threat. As they reached higher ground, they watched their world deteriorate into a realm ruled by anarchy and mayhem caused by water. It demonstrated that having courage may be a more powerful force than even the most devastating rages that nature can unleash. However, the disaster's effects were not limited to the domain of humans. An enormous landslide was occurring below the water's surface. It was a catastrophic bollet of rock and sediment orchestrated by the Earth's tumultuous choreographer. The weight of this geological performance caused the harbor and docks of Port Valdez, a bustling focus of marine activity, to crumble and forced the city to face disaster. The agonized roars of the earth and the laments of the people who lived in the town blended, leaving a dreadful symphony imprinted in memory. The cost was enormous in terms of both human lives and physical damage. The storm's fury claimed the lives of 139 people who had previously been vibrant and full of hope. Among them, 15 were taken by the earthquake's savage embrace, while 106 were washed away by the tsunami's unstoppable wave in Alaska alone. The quake was the primary cause of 15 of the deaths. The lingering wrath of the tsunami was felt as far away as Oregon and California, where it claimed a total of 16 lives, 5 in Oregon and 13 in California. Both states were affected by the tsunami. Number 1. Valdivia Earthquake, 1960, 9.5. In the history of natural disasters, one seismic event stands out from the others, like a giant let loose from the depths of the Earth's core, shattering the very foundations of human comprehension. This massive earthquake, which took place in Valdivia in 1960 and is now known as the Valdivia Earthquake, will go down in the annals of history as the most powerful earthquake ever recorded. It was a symphony of destruction and mayhem that amazed and perplexed the globe. Imagine the scene. It's a peaceful afternoon on May 22, 1960, and the hands of the clock are hovering around 15:11 local time. This time will forever be etched into the memories of those who were there to see it happen. Around 100 miles off the coast of Chile, where the enormous expanse of the Pacific Ocean meets the unwavering land, the Earth's tectonic plates came to the conclusion that it was time to resolve their differences by engaging in a loud and violent collision. The result is, it is a seismic force with an astounding measurement of 9.5 on the Richter scale, an unmatched power in its sheer strength. This geological fight raged on for what seemed like an eternity, 10 minutes, as if the Earth needed to get out some of its pent-up rage. However, the conclusion of the earthquake marked the beginning of an even more horrific phenomenon. A tsunami, a monstrous wave of water wrought from the earthquake's enormous energy. Like avenging giants, the waves surged up to 25 meters, 82 feet, breaking into the Chilean coast with unbridled ferocity. The anarchy, however, did not end when it reached the beach. Instead, it continued over the ocean with the ferocity of a cosmic storm. The aftermath seemed bizarre, like a canvas painted with different colors representing different types of disaster. A faraway echo of the earthquake on the other side of the planet could be heard in Hilo, Hawaii, besieged by towering seas. As if steered by an incomprehensible hand, waves reached astounding heights of 10.7 meters, 35 feet, across distances thousands of kilometers from the earthquake's epicenter. The Pacific Ocean became a theater of wrath, and its midst was engulfed in far-off places such as Japan and the Philippines in its raging waters. However, the numbers do not adequately convey the scope of the catastrophe on their own. Amid the upheaval and confusion, lives were taken, lives that are priceless and cannot be replaced. The death toll from this devastating catastrophe is still a mystery, since estimates of those who perished in the earthquake range from the heartbreakingly tragic number of 1,000 to the absolutely staggering number of 6,000. The suffering did not simply leave physical scars. Around 3,000 souls were left coping with injuries, which is testimony to the relentless strength of nature. Thanks for watching. If you want more videos like this one, make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel to never miss out on any of our videos.